Let's laugh, Sam, like we just are having a really good.
A
So as
Julia
people are
Roberts
entering.
laugh.
oh, oh, hey everybody.
Drawing Days is a lesson in visual communication. It's for all skill levels. No one should be afraid to put pen to paper or pencil to paper. All you need is a drawing pad or a piece of paper and a pencil for today. And also, introduction time. I'm Sam Lieberstein. I am a member of TEA. I currently work for Thinkwell. And I'm actually celebrating my 10th year as a member of TEA. So what a better way to celebrate 10 years than to host an incredible event. And joining us today is our expert, Mike Schwalm. And Mike has been in themed entertainment for over 10 years. He's worked for Walt Disney Imagineering on incredibly high-profile projects like Pandora World of Avatar at Disney Animal Kingdom. Mike continues to develop key art, storyboards, illustration, bird's eyes as a concept designer on world-class themed entertainment projects. And in 2019, he formed his own company, Mike Schwalm Creative, and has worked with a variety of clients like Paramount, continues to work with Disney, Universal Creative, Mousetrap, Storyland Studios, and many more. And we are thrilled to have him join us as our expert today to help guide us in this lesson in visual communication. So, Mike, tell us what we're doing today.
Okay, so let me screen share. So there's something I like to do when I like to do these sketch pages, and I think that it may have been on the flyer. You guys have seen some of those sorts of things, and I love doing these in meetings, and I love doing these. Sometimes I'll get a job from a client, and they'll ask me to just kind of come back with some ideas. So I like to take a blank page usually and fill it up with fun little sketches. So today I'm going to do mine based on a cardboard tiki bar that I built in my garage during the dreaded pandemic. But I'm going to fill up the page with sketches as if I'm sort of designing this tiki bar. And at the end, I can show you some videos of how it actually turned out. But starting off, just kind of lay out your page. You're just sitting down for your meeting. Lay out your page. In the center, kind of towards the end, we're going to do a little sort of bird's eye perspective of what this could look like. And I'll try and keep it super simple. And then around the outside, we're going to draw the little gags in sketch form, just sort of around the edge of the page. But the first thing you got to do up here in the corner at the beginning of any meeting or whatever it is that you're doing is you got to draw little bubble letters what the project is. And it's a great way of taking notes. And yeah, again, you don't have to think too hard about keeping things perfect. And that's one reason I love these pages, is because the finished project can be a total hot mess. And oftentimes it looks more fun when it is. And I'm going to try to not cheat today and use all of the, as you can see, I'm working on an iPad, but I'm going to try to work as though I am working on a page. So I can't use all my usual iPad tricks, but this is called Tiki Bar ideation page. So if we're sitting down in a meeting, we start talking about the sorts of things we might want to do in our tiki bar. And I think obviously we know we're going to want to have a bunch of little tikis in there. So as everyone in the meeting maybe starts talking about that, I'm off to the side over here and I'm just kind of like drawing some little tiki masks. So let's draw a couple little tiki masks just for fun. So sort of start with an oval. Oops, I cheated already. Trying to not use, there we go, just regular erase. Don't have to worry too much about it looking perfect. It can look a little janky. So an oval with a little pointy bottom, and then draw a little circle inside of that maybe. And these ones, of course, are all sort of inspired by the what's it called? You know, that thing at Disneyland with the birds, that thing. Why don't I know what that is? The Tiki Room.
There we go.
That's what it's called. So then they always kind of have these almond eyes, these tikis. And then, of course, like a big crazy tiki mouth has always got to be, looks like a peanut. And then you can sort of embellish it if you want and add little details.
So when you're doing and adding these details, how are you deciding where to place them? What might add to it versus clutter it?
That's a great question. Usually, usually I aim for clutter. One fun trick to do when you're trying to add detail things is just sort of keep sort of filling in the negative space, right? So I've got this nice little area right here, so I'll just kind of draw a nice little line within that negative space, right? So I'll cheat off the bottom of the eye, I'll follow around the edge right here, I'll go back down, and I'll go around the top of the mouth. So I get as close as I can to all the objects around it without actually touching it. Does that make sense? And then it just kind of feels like there's a little more detail. I'll even do one on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So should we draw one more little tiki guy? We can. Let's draw one
Yes,
more.
let's do another one.
Oops. My iPad does this fun thing where it likes to switch me from draw to erase. First, I got to draw zigzags. I think this guy needs some zigzags around the outside. So we've got a lot to draw, so I don't want to go too fast or too slow, but I don't want to go too fast. So Sam, you let me know sort of where we're at.
I think your pace is pretty good. Let us know in the chat otherwise.
All right,
If
so we
it's a
got
little too fast.
one of the best part of ideation pages that makes them look really good and really fun is drawing arrows pointing to things. There's my tiki. We don't really need an arrow right there, but we will eventually, because you put notes all over things. And let's draw one more guy. All right, so this guy has a flat top. Let's see, where do we want him? Yeah, we want him up here. Let's fill in the space a little bit. This guy has a flat top, and then let's give him a big bulbous chin. And again, it's a meeting and no one cares. So I don't really care what anything's look like, as long as I'm sort of keeping track of what everyone talks about. It's just sort of a visual way of taking notes. So right now in the meeting, everybody's still talking, like introducing themselves. And I'm just over here, our fictional meeting that we're in. And I'm just over here drawing tikis while everybody's getting started. So more tiki eyes. This guy has a little bit of a different nose. And this guy has sharp teeth. So all this stuff that I'm going to draw in here, I've made it in one way or another out of cardboard. So I'm showing you kind of the stuff that's actually in my garage. So I made all of these out of cardboard during COVID, and it was kind of fun because I was building the Tiki Bar anyway. And it turned out that my son, who is 6 now, but he was like 2 or 3 at the time, is super into Scooby-Doo. So for Halloween, we were the Scooby-Doo gang, and then our garage was Spooky Island. And so we painted all of the tikis all over the place with black light, and everything was glowing, and it was really fun. So you'll see, I'm giving this guy circle details just for fun. So we got a couple tikis here. And then, so one of the ways that this guy ended up being cool is so we're drawing all the gags, right? So we have tikis, but you kind of want everything to do something magical or special. So I built this guy to the size of an iPad. So I'm going to draw an iPad over here. It's my little iPad. And so in the meeting, while we're talking about what this cardboard tiki bar is going to be, I'm like, maybe we could put a tiki mask over this iPad. And then on the iPad, I animated little eyeballs that look back and forth. And actually, I left this guy's mouth open. And then I animated little teeth inside going up and down. So here's the edge of my iPad. And then when you put the iPad inside the tiki mask and hang it on the wall, and you dim the iPad down, it looks like this guy has little eyes that go back and forth and little teeth that go up and down.
And this is where those arrows come in handy, right? 'Cause
Yes,
you
the
write a
arrows.
little
And then you
note.
know, you put a little note, iPad in tiki mask for moving eyes and mouth. And I know it might not seem like much to put these little notes on it, but even the little notes, I kind of look at them as a design element, right? And it's just kind of nice to have those little notes all over the page and sketches everywhere. If we had more time, I would be, you know, and you're sitting in this meeting that's lasting forever, and I would be drawing like little palm trees on everything. And I just really like filling up the whole page and making it crazy. So, all right, so that's one of our tiki bar gags. We've got some tiki masks. And if we have time, we can come back and draw more tiki masks because I've got a lot of them in the garage. One thing real quick that I'll just hit while I'm here is to work as you're doing this thing, right? Think about the space that you have available. So I'm going to draw a quick little plan view of my garage, and that will come in handy later. You see, I sort of sketched it back there earlier, so I'm cheating a little bit. But so I need to know the space I have available to work with. So here's my little garage. And then eventually the plan view of this thing, if we want to get into it already, is so back here we've got a view out to the ocean because I've got a 3-car garage. So back here we got a projector. We'll draw that next. And then here's the door out to the trash. So we need to have access right here to the door out to the side yard. And then a couple big set wing walls. And then we've got a big diagonal wall. And this wall has a hole crashed through it with a giant tiki man with lava coming down him, like projection map lava. And then this back wall is the bar back, and then here's the bar top. And I've got a little table in here. So, you know, like these are the sorts of things that end up on these pages, right? You got little bar stools. And then also is just sort of like a nice little design element on the page. All right, so in the back here, we want to do this window out to the ocean, right? So first we draw what that looks like. Just draw a big rectangle. So draw first kind of what we want it to look like, and then think about what we might want it to, how it might work, right? So we've got these 3 beams in the wall. Actually, I got 4 beams. Sorry, excuse me. And a lot of this architecture and stuff, as I was doing it, again, it's all made out of cardboard and wood framing and everything. But it's I was looking at architecture from the Jungle Cruise and other parts of Adventureland. So I didn't want to get too crazy, but so we've got our 4 beams going across. And then this is the little window opening. So let's add another line to frame those up. So this is the window out to the ocean. And then the rest of the wall will have props and stuff all over it. So you've got like some pictures up here, kind of hanging askew. Maybe another little one hanging askew. And then maybe do some erasing. Maybe we got like some crates or some other tiki stuff sitting in front of here. So this is just sort of an elevation of what I want this wall to look like, right? You got your trunk. Maybe there's some more little steamer trunks sitting on it. Just real easy stuff to draw, right? This one has a little handle. Maybe there's let's draw a barrel. The barrel's really easy to draw. Maybe there's some barrels. So straight line at the top, straight line on the bottom, longer curved line on the sides, and then you've got your metal band that goes around the barrels. And then slightly curved on the outside, and the closer you get to the middle, they become straight. So I'll draw a couple on the outside that are curved, one in the middle that's straight, and then I'll try and sort of split the difference here in the middle. So there's our little barrel that probably has rum in it because we're in a tiki bar. And then you sort of have to, let's these are, if you want to mess with line weights, sort of like around the window, the big stuff you're paying attention to maybe is heavier and thicker the line. But then you got to draw all these wooden slats in here, and you can just keep that line weight really thin. And then you don't even need to draw all of it behind everything. You can just kind of suggest it and make it look like these are sort of wood paneled walls. So there's our little tiki wall. And then what do we want the ocean look like? Outside, obviously, we need plants, which a lot of times can just be squiggly lines, which is easy. Or like, yeah, little squiggles, stuff hanging up above, little circles. And then out behind here, well, we need our horizon. And again, maybe the line weight here is a little bit different. So let's suggest our little volcano in the distance with the sunset behind it. And some ripply line.
For some of our newer folks in sketching, when you say line weight,
oh yes,
how do you
of course,
it just kind of explain that,
how hard you press, how thick the line is, right? So again, the areas you want to call attention to, you can do a thicker line weight around. That's a good question. And then again, for just these little details that are more of a texture than anything, they can just be really simple. So there's the view out of our window. Maybe we'll add some more plants. So we start thinking about how we want to do this. And I think maybe I'll draw a quick little elevation. Let's go over here. So let's draw a quick little elevation, fill it in. Here's our window. Here's our wall from the side, right? Just as point of reference, here's our trunk. It's a little bit tall. Here's our little tiki trunk, the side. So we know that there's a hole here in the window. So what I did for mine is back here, I have a little piece of PVC and I have the screen hanging like a foot or two back. So we can put little notes on it to help. So this is the wall. And this is just the sheet right here. So we'll write sheet. But one of the fun things about doing a little gag like this is sort of the negative space between the wall and the sheet. I have a little table and I sort of fill it with plants. And then I have a couple more little things of PVC that have goop, like plants hanging off of them, right? So it just gives a little more depth to that, to that gag. So plants.
And that's also one of the tricks that we use when we build stuff, is that to hide our media screens better and create the illusion better.
Exactly.
Layers.
Yes, exactly. It's so funny. I'm so forgiving of media screens if you just try, right? Like if just try, just put a little something cool around it, put it back there a ways. I'm like, I'm cool. Use as many media screens as you want. All right. And then back here, it's very important, a folding chair with a projector on it, which is just a little rectangle and a little triangle thing on the front. And then you got to draw the lines to show that it's projecting. And then probably you have to write projector and put an arrow to it just because it looks cool. Okay, so see how we're sort of filling up areas? And I'll just go around, I'll keep filling up areas. I'll say plan view right here and with an arrow to fill in this space. And I'll make a little dimensional arrow. All right, so over here, how are we doing on time?
We're good. We got plenty of time left.
Okay, I'm like, are we done already? I feel like time flies when I'm doing this stuff.
No, we're good.
Okay, so over in this area of our tiki bar is where we've got the big hole in the wall with the tiki guy bursting through it. So this was the first idea I had, which kind of started the whole thing, and it was to have a Pepper's ghost. So I've got this tiki head. Let me draw him first. I want to make sure I don't draw him so big that I can't draw the rest of the stuff around him. But You got this guy, and his head is literally just like a box. But then I made it a little more interesting. I'll go in there and erase these. So mess that part up. So it's a box, but it has these two big bump outs on top and a third bump out right here for his noggin. And then he's got a really big tiki mouth because I wanted it to fit the big Pepper's Ghost tiki thing. So he's got a monitor and a piece of glass in his mouth at a 45-degree angle. And on the monitor, there's fire, just like a little recording of fire, right? And it plays rectangle in the middle, little rectangles on the side for his nostrils. And then he has these big eyes too. And then little borders on the outside of his eyes. So this is my big tiki man. And I think I did a TEA event not too long ago. Well, actually, it was a couple years ago while during the pandemic where I taught people how to make these little tiki Pepper's Ghost guys. So I don't know if any of you guys were there for that. But so he's going to have fire in his mouth because obviously. And then, so I built him up on this huge frame. And this was the biggest pain in the butt ever. Again, everything was made out of cardboard, like Amazon boxes, because we just had so many stocked up in our garage. So he is kind of on this trapezoidal base, and it kind of looks like there's a basin at the bottom, right? So the lava has a place to stop. And then I sort of came up with some, there's like big chunky rocks. So the rock bits, which I'll flesh out in a minute. One way I like to draw rocks is to kind of just draw these angles, right? Draw these weird shapes. And then with, again, the lighter line weight, you come in and you just kind of draw all these lines at an angle. And then every once in a while, you draw a little rectangle in there. And it kind of looks like this sort of rough rock face, right? Again, this is real quick and dirty, but at the lower line weight, you add those little details, add more little rocks and stuff. Just like a quick way to show that things are rocks. And then the same thing down here. And again, all this stuff is cardboard. All the rock bits are cardboard. And then the in-between bits, all this, I painted like a 50%, maybe like 30 or 40% gray. And so it looks like this guy's actually outside the walls of the Tiki Bar. And I have this area in my little set wall that's sort of like jaggedy. So scribbles, scribbles, scribbles. And it almost feels like he's out in the jungle outside the Tiki Bar because I have all of this fake foliage and stuff, which is just ripped up green t-shirts. Because again, we're on a budget here. So foliage outside. Here's your other wiggly line. And then again, suggest the fact that there's the wood that's been broken through because maybe this thing crashed up from the ground or something cool. I don't really know. More plants. And so he connects to a monitor that runs the fire in his mouth. And then let's draw a little plan view of this guy. Let's see, where do we have?
See if we can slow down a little bit too, just in case for
sure.
More folks.
So there's your tiki guy that's crashed through the wall. I'll just keep drawing plants. And you know what? We don't even really have to do an elevation of him. Well, I'll do a quick one. It's easy. I'll just do a quickie. Here he is. Here's the monitor in his mouth. Here's his nose. Like this is the front of him. Other way. Here's the piece of glass at a 45-degree angle inside. And then we've got the projector up here attached to the roof of the garage. And then we can add all our fun little notes. Projector. Is it ER or OR?
ER. Now you got me questioning it.
I think it's ER. I'm going to go with ER. unless anyone in the chat has thoughts.
Oh, Kelly says OR.
Please ignore all my misspellings. So then we'll write. I'll just keep adding notes. TV, glass. And this stuff's fun too, because just as you come back to whatever the project is, if you're sort of taking notes visually, it's easy to remember. For me, I always took notes in high school just by I would be writing things, but I'd be doodling in the margins. And oddly enough, even if I was writing, or even if I was drawing like aliens attacking a city, I would look at the picture and I could remember what the teacher was talking about. As like if I looked at the picture, I remembered what was being talked about at that time. So, all right, we're filling up our little ideation page. We can add a couple more gags, but maybe I'll start on the perspective Tiki Bar, so we can show kind of how this stuff all fits in here. What other fun things are in here? Let's see. I'll draw a couple more walls. So over here, there's a shipwreck wall that was built over a wall that I had from another project. I used to have a Disney villains thing in the garage, and it was fun. And this is where the magic mirror went for the Snow White Queen, but I turned it into shelves. So I have this big wall. This is a porthole in the middle. So if you're drawing a porthole, you gotta just draw a couple circles. And you gotta draw the rivets, because now you know it's a porthole. And then this big piece of wall, there's sort of I'm gonna really lightly draw the frame underneath it, but I didn't want it to just look like one of these big 4x8 pieces of plywood. So the wall around it is kind of wonky, and there's like a big shark bite out of one side of it, and it looks like it has sort of these big beams that have been broken through.
You got to keep those sharks out of your garage, buddy.
I know, dude. Tell me about it. So yeah, this is the shark attack wall. And so I've got little shelves in this porthole. And then I've got like little shark props and stuff all over this wall. A little shark in there. And then, no Tiki Bar is complete without all the props and everything. Some bottles. But then the fun gag on this wall again is a tiny projector. So I have two big nice Epson projectors that I use for this guy. Oops. For the Tiki guy and for the window. And then every time I'm allowed to spend any money, I just buy these little crappy projectors, and then I like to use these for gags all over here too. Let's see. I don't know where the wall. It says this is the S something or other.
The SS. SSSSS.
Yeah, the SSSSS. So this wall is all rusty and stuff. So, but it's sitting at an angle. So I kind of wanted the rust to be at an angle. So as if it were shipwrecked and then got all rusty. And grunge and rust is just easy, just these little squiggly lines. And the rust tends to hang off the bottom of where materials meet each other. So you've got this sort of old distressed wall. And then the fun thing about this wall is I have like a ripple. I made a little ripple projection. And I'm not going to cheat and use white. Normally I would use my white thing, but I have a shadow of a shark that swims over the wall. So every once in a while, if you're looking at these walls, it looks like all these fishies. And then every once in a while, a shark swims by. So a shark, which I'm actually not very good at drawing a shark, so this is going to be sad, but some sort of tail. And then a long curvy line on the top and a long curvy line on the bottom. And then color that all in. And then, of course, the big scary fin on the top and a little fin on the bottom. So here's the shark shadow wall. I'm gonna give it a little more grunge. Maybe draw an arrow to show direction. And so there's this like beautiful blue light that's always rippling across this wall. And then every once in a while, you get the shadows of, I'll draw a couple little fishies too. Little fishies. All right, now let's do the perspective part, because that's sort of the fun / hard part. I am gonna cheat and move this out of the way a little bit. Actually, no, I'm not, because what if you guys drew something there and you're not allowed to cheat? So I'm gonna try and be nice about it. So we've got my garage. Basically what I would do is I would take this ground plan and I'm gonna draw it bigger. So, and I'm gonna draw try and draw just the ground plan again, right? So we've got our back wall here of the garage. I'm gonna ignore the 3-car garage bit. And we're just drawing this big rectangle or this big square, but it's open in the front because it's a garage, right? So nothing in the front. And then on the inside of that, I'm going to draw the set walls that I've got. So I've got sort of over here, I've got the opening to the outside. And then this is the window out to the ocean. And then we've got this long diagonal wall over here. And then this is our bar back, right? And then let's see, I've got the wall with the tiki masks right here, and then there's a little bump out. And then it goes back. So I'm gonna try to show an easy sort of tricky way to do sort of an aerial perspective. Is the first thing I would do. Imagine there's this line down the middle. Now I'm not gonna actually, well, I'll draw it, but you guys don't have to. There's this line down the middle, and all the lines coming off of the outside edges, every corner there's going to be a line that's cheating towards the center line. The further away from this line, the further away from the center line it is, the greater the angle is going to be. And the closer it is to the center line, the less of an angle it's going to be, right? So keeping that in mind, I'm going to erase my center line. And I'm going to draw a slight little angle off of each corner and try and keep them all the same length. So we'll kind of see this one. So again, this is just sort of like a cheaty way of doing perspective. If this was 1-point perspective, everything would be going towards the middle, but I'm not worried about that too much. It's just kind of like a cheaty regular / orthographic perspective. So once we've drawn all those lines from the middle and we connect all the bottoms, and you can kind of see like we're looking down into our tiki bar. So I might have to erase bits of it here and there as I draw in front of or on top of it. But we'll draw some of the 2 big pieces of furniture in there, right? There's a table, which is just a circle. And then draw some lines down from the edges of the circle because it's got a tablecloth on it. And then draw some little Ripley's, sort of the same curve as the upper circle. And then just draw a couple lines coming off of the bottom. And so that's my little table with a tablecloth on it. And then over here, we've got the bar back and the bar. So I need to draw a little bit more furniture. So I'm actually going to cheat and erase some of this. Sort of, you can just do it lightly, but the top of the bar is here. So we need to draw a rectangle for the top of the bar. So there's our rectangle. That's the top of the bar back. And then just follow the same rules where you bring these lines kind of towards the that center line. And then we've got our bar top, which is over here. Just another rectangle. This is actually an L. Is this good? Is everybody following along? Do I need to slow down? Do I need to clarify anything? Am I still connected to the internet?
Yes, you are still good to go. No one's chimed in if it's a little fast, but I think a little extra time always helps.
Okay, cool. I'll just vamp and draw slowly. So we've got our bar back
Oh,
over
definitely
here.
keep drawing.
Okay.
Just do it a little slower.
Okay. And then we've got our bar top. So we bring those same lines off of our bar top. And again, we're kind of cheating. It's an orthographic perspective, which means that it's not accurate perspective, but it helps you kind of understand how dimensional things are. So here's our little bar. So if you've got that, you're kind of good. And then you can just go around and fill it in with all the fun little details. So I'll start doing that. Well, first I got to draw arrows to what goes where, because draw the big arrows. This guy goes on this wall. This guy goes here. Maybe I won't make it all the way. This guy goes here. Tiki masks go on this wall. And then shark wall is over here. And again, love me some little bubble arrows. This one's real ugly, so I have to erase it. And I have to erase this shark arrow too, because it's in my way of getting my really sexy arrow. Arrows are the most important part.
Obviously.
Never forget. You can draw
Otherwise,
whatever
we'll never
you
know
want.
where anything goes.
You can draw garbage all over your page and then just fill it up with notes and arrows, and people are going to see that and be like, wow, that person knows what they're talking about. Cool. So yeah, I guess some of this is kind of just going back and drawing things at filling them in with this little perspective, but it's like, I'm just going to start doing it, right? So remember the rules of the closer that it gets to the center line, the less of an angle it is, the lines that come off the top. So here's our beams on this back wall of our window. So I'm just going to go around and fill the walls up with stuff. So this is our projector window. And because I already drew like what it looks like really nicer up above, I don't have to worry about it as much here, but I might want to suggest some of those plants. And then I want to add some of those little props. So I would go in and erase a couple of corners, add a little rectangle up here, add my little trunk. So as props, again, very, very important part of Tiki Bar. This guy is going to be hard to draw at an angle, but I'll just sort of cheat it. So here's our big opening. And we know that he sort of looks like this, right? And he's actually back past here. So we would see his head come back here. But that's just a little detail. It doesn't really matter. So we've got our big guy crashing through the wall. We would see his big open mouth and kind of the top of his head, because this little post is blocking the rest of him. But again, just draw him again real quick. Draw some rocks in there. So there's our big tiki man. And then you can start adding fun little details to the walls. Just filling out the walls with all of your little wall panels. And again, the lighter line weight, just draw them a little less intense. Show that there's wood. And then you go back in and darker, you could draw your details. Like here's a dartboard. Here's little pictures I want on the walls. And this is the most fun part, I think, is when you just go around and start filling in all these little details, these little sketchy things. I want to suggest that this has a little bit of depth to it, and suggest that there's some plants out here in the corner, right? Because you see them. Plants are easy, squiggly lines. And then on our bar, we got to draw some shelves. And then draw little bottles at perspective is kind of hard, but just sort of stick with your lines that you've got. Do the best you can. I would draw little swoopies at the bottom and then just lines going up, because you wouldn't even really see the top of the bottles from this angle. Or just draw lines going up. And this is your tiki bar, the back of your tiki bar. And I've got a lot more going on in here too, with like little wooden beams coming up and supporting parts of the quote unquote look like they're supporting the roof. This is actually so a cable can get up to my projector that's up here, but I put little leaves and vines and stuff all over it. And then I've got another one of those right here at the front with leaves and vines all over it. And then it connects to another big bamboo piece that goes across right here. And that has those glass floats on it. So glass floats are an important tiki bar thing, which is really easy like this. Just draw a circle and then draw, or actually what's even better, draw a circle and then draw a swoopy grid across it. And now you've got a little tiki float lantern. Fill in all these details, just hop around. You can just jump around from place to place in your drawing and draw whatever little details you want. Draw little, I have little trunks all over the place, just as little details. So little rectangles with those lines coming off again, sort of at a downward angle. It looks like a little trunk. I've got a big trunk on this table, sort of at a rectangle, and then the little lines coming off of it going down and then connect the bottom lines. Because yeah, you got to have props everywhere. So I've got another gag over in the bar area. What time is it? Do we have time to draw it, or we're wrapping up?
Yeah, we got 15 minutes left.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll just keep adding little details again, because this is, if I were doing this for me right now, like I would go back in and I would sort of beef up this top edge just to make it clear
Gotta add
that
our little tiki masks on the wall too.
Oh yeah, shoot, dude, can't forget that. All right, so let's go over there here and do that. This is emergency exit. So I just have a little panel up here with some wood bits on it, some little frames. Sorry, I'm just jumping around. I can just stick to the order if that makes it easier for everybody. But it's how my brain works, okay? It's scattered.
But I mean, it's also indicative of how meetings work too, because when you're in a meeting, people, oh well, let's talk about the volcano guy. Oh well, let's talk about the bar. Oh, let's talk about the shark. What kind of shark is it? What color is it? Is it spotted? Exactly. We don't need to know that right now.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. That every meeting has that person. There you go. What color is the shadow of the shark? So this wall is actually really funny because it is made out of toilet paper roll tubes, because it looks like bamboo. If you cut toilet paper roll tubes in half, I had friends and family all save up a ton of toilet paper roll tubes and send them to me. And so this wall is divided into 3 bits, and the bottom portion looks like bamboo. And then the top portion looks like this fun weaving. And then our little tiki masks, you just draw like a little blob right there, because you already have your arrows that say tiki mask. I'll make a note just so it's clear. So if you want, give me a couple minutes at the end to I can show a couple photos of what this thing looks like.
Absolutely.
We got that. Let's make these rocks look better. Let's make these rocks look more like rocks. I'd love to see what you guys all end up drawing. If anybody's able to sort of share that somehow, it'd be really fun to
Oh,
see.
absolutely. That's what we do at the end of the
Cool.
lesson is people take photos or scan um their their work and then they post it to social media and then use the hashtag TEA drawing days.
Sweet. I'll hashtag this sucker. Very important to know how to draw a tiki, very tiny tiki mug at an angle. Draw a circle. And then some squiggly lines coming off of it, and then a little swoopty line at the bottom, and then little tiny umbrella, little circle. Yeah, there you go. That's it. There's a tiny little tiki drink I made just for you.
Legendary.
And then the bar area looks like it's all made up of crates. So that's a fun thing to know how to draw too, is just all these little crate details feel very much like a tiki bar. Is draw a square, draw a little square inside the square, and then draw a cross piece in the middle, and then draw your little straight up and down lines. And now you got a crate. So these are all little crates in front of here. And one of them says, the name of my tiki bar is Monsoon Mike's. So one of the little crates says shipped to Monsoon Mike's. Then I've got a whole bunch of little props up here. Tiki stuff. Again, it just, as long as all of those lines are sort of swooping to the middle, you can draw whatever you want. I don't even know what this is. I do have a cool tiki guy in there, up there with a cool effect on it, but I figured we should get to this first because we've drawn enough tikis at this point. And then over here's my shipwreck wall, but you can't really see it from this angle, but we'll suggest it. There's the opening in the middle and just some little scribblies. And then this wall right here is just pretty standard. It's got the little baseboards. Oops. And then it sort of has that crate design to it too, with the beams, the little cross beams going opposite directions. And then your line straight down. So if you guys want extra points, if you want to design your own cool tiki bar on a page like this, and then tag that TEA drawing days, I bet you could get at least, I don't know, how does your point system work here? 20 points? What is that worth? 40 points?
Yeah, I would say around there.
Okay, cool. And then on the wall over here, I've got a map of 𝐒𝐻𝐤𝐬𝐿, 10 points for anyone who knows what that is. I bet you know, Sam.
I've been a little afraid to go there. There's some creatures there with some mighty big chompers.
Sweet. You know what's up.
Wouldn't
Just
want my
filling in
Jeep to get stuck in the rain there.
Yeah, that would be the worst. What I really want to do when I first built this, I was like, I'm going to change it out every year with a new theme, and I'm going to have a Star Wars bar one year, and I'm going to have a Jurassic Park bar one year, and that just never, there's just no way. It's so time consuming. If there's another pandemic, God
Let's
forbid.
hope not.
Yeah, I will update this at some point. So yeah, what other tiki things do we need to learn how to draw? Oh yeah, a barrel. A barrel at perspective is a good thing to know how to draw for your tiki bar. So draw a little oval. And then swoopity lines coming off of it. And then curve at the bottom. And then you got your big cross pieces, or those iron beams or those iron bars that go around. And draw those maybe at a heavy line, like push harder with those. And then again, the center line is straight and the outside lines curve a little bit. And there we go. We got a little barrel. We'll add some rivets to some of these boxes. Add some more tiki drinks.
Details.
What was that? Yeah, the details.
All in the details. I think
it's the fun
this
stuff.
looks really great. And I'm happy with how mine came out. Are you happy with how yours came out?
Oh yeah, I feel good about this.
Awesome. So I believe you said you had some photos and videos of the final build out. So
Yeah,
that'd be cool to show some of the folks
I
how we
can
get
share
from the
those.
idea all the way to the finish.
Let me see. I've got an album. Tiki Bar. So this is the first little drawing I did uh to show my wife. Like, I want to build a cardboard tiki bar in the garage. Is that cool? And sure enough, she
Whatever
said it
makes you
was.
happy, I'm sure it
Yeah.
was.
So there's a little Pepper's Ghost Fire. That was the first thing I built in my little concept art of the Tiki Mountain Man. The base I built for him. And then, yeah, there's just progress. That's his cardboard face before I painted it. And it looks like there's fire going in his mouth, right?
We got a question. What did you use to make the animations?
YouTube.
Well, easy enough.
Just downloaded them. Just got some fire videos on YouTube. Oh, this was a little more complicated. The lava. Uh this isn't animated lava, that's just projected on him. But I projected on him and I set him up like I made the monitor my I opened up Photoshop and projected on him and made that my monitor. And then literally like in real time traced out over him where the lava paths were. And then I took that into After Effects and I just found a tutorial how to make lava in After Effects. And then I just superimposed a little bit of fire over the bottom of it. So it's pretty cheap and cheery, but it turned out looking okay. And then here's a rough of my little tiki mask.
With a little iPad.
Yeah, with the iPad underneath. Oh, and yeah, here's nightmare fuel for what it looks like when it's doesn't have the iPad. But you see, it's the size of my iPad because I use this iPad. I hang this iPad on the wall and I put my tiki guy over it.
Right.
And
Another
then
question we had is for the concept drawings, did you use Procreate or Photoshop? And were they digital drawings or pen and paper?
most everything I do, at least recently, is in Procreate. So everything's digital, everything's Procreate for all these drawings. So you can see here building stuff around the walls, cardboard. I did an elevation, sort of like a sketchy elevation. Like, here's my shark wall. Here's the view out to the ocean. Here's my tiki man. Here's the bar back. Just for fun, so I could have it. And then slowly it came together. So there's that guy in the corner. There's the view out to the ocean.
Awesome.
And so you get the idea. I'll jump ahead to the I have a couple good videos. Let's see, is this one? Will this one load? Questionable.
It's thinking.
It's thinking. What about this one? Okay, yeah, so that's a good one. So that's the shark wall. Every once in a while, a shadow of the shark goes across. There's the Tiki iPad guy, emergency exit behind the pirate flag. There's the view out to the ocean. Got a lot of skeletons, and then the Tiki Lava Man.
So rad.
And then the bar area. But I think it. No, do we get a view of the bar area? Kind of. Yeah. There's my bartender. That was before I painted the bar back, but it was looking okay. So yeah, there you go. You get the idea.
Oh, awesome. Another question we had is, did you have a ribbon cutting?
No, I should have. It was a gradual. It was a lot of soft openings.
Fair. Technical rehearsals. We all love those.
Yeah, a lot of technical rehearsals, having friends over, a lot of drinking, and then slowly, it gets better and better.
Exactly. The more you drink, the better it looks, right?
Yeah, totally. That's the best. Yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah.
So I hope that was helpful. I hope that was informative, and I hope it just encourages you that sketches they don't need to look that good. I don't think any of that. None of it looks that good when it's tiny, but somehow when you fill a page with all these little crappy drawings, it looks amazing. As long as you draw arrows everywhere. So don't be worried about your level of skill. Just get in there and like just do the best you can to sort of take your ideas with or write down your ideas with pictures is sort of what I'm trying to encourage.
That's been a running theme, is just don't be afraid to actually just do it. Just put the pencil to paper and do it. You're
Just do it.
you're the exactly, you're the biggest you can be the biggest roadblock is yourself sometimes. Well, Mike, this was absolutely wonderful. What an incredible lesson. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being our expert for this volume, for this episode of this volume. Everyone who's still here, please make sure you take a photo or scan what you did and post it on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever Twitter's called these days. I don't know. And do hashtag TEA drawing days, hashtag TEA, hashtag themed entertainment Western Division, hashtag themed entertainment association, all the hashtags. Thank you so much to all who attended. If you're watching this in the future, please post anyway, and we'll see you in the next episode. And just remember, everybody, no matter what happens, just keep drawing.